Rackers set to kick. And off we go from Candlestick. A low bouncing kick by Rackers. Hard to feel and take it in by Delaney Walker of the Niners. And he's down at the 25. We'll have to watch Rackers tonight. He tweaked his leg a bit in pregame warmups. And Walker, a big part of the offense, limps back to the San Francisco huddle. So we'll keep an eye on him.
Well, Alex Smith brings his team out, and when the season started, they were a running football team. Not anymore. Over the last 4 games, 73% passing. They're going to throw the football early and often.
Alex is 25. He was the #1 pick of the 05 draft out of Utah. He struggled at the start, then was injured with his shoulder, didn't play at all last year. Backing up Sean Hill the start of the season and took this team over, now his 7th start of 2009. Out of the gun from the 25 for Vernon Davis. Covered tightly by Adrian Wilson, one of those captains on D, and incomplete. Jason Hill came across the formation. On Smith, 2nd down, a run for 5. We'll have 3rd and 5 coming up. Bertrand Berry into pass rush on 3rd and 5. Offside flag as Smith has a free one. Off the hands of Davis, who had the dropsies last week in Seattle. But this flag could give him a 1st down.
It'll be very close, Mike, but you're right about Vernon Davis. He has 63 receptions, 10 touchdowns, but he has some drops.
Encroachment, neutral zone infraction, defense, number 95, into the neutral zone early.
That's something we talked about all week,
Still
Ron.
3rd down.
That's something we talked about all week, is the ability to use the hard count. Listen to here if you can hear Alex Smith. I think it's going to be really important throughout the game. These Arizona Cardinals love to rush the passer, particularly in these obvious passing situations. So look for Alex Smith to use a quick count. He'll come back with a hard count. He's going to try to really use some of that Ron Jaworski voice inflection to keep these Cardinals on their heels.
Yeah, I like that, John. You're right. Hut, hut, hut.
You heard Jerome Boger, the referee, say that it was 3rd down, but they marked it off and saw they picked it the 1st down at the 35. Got another guy to jump on that one. Delaney Walker a catch. Is going to be no gain, but you'll add 5 for what looked to be an offside on the right end. And Whisenhunt, the Cardinals head coach.
Offside, defense, number 93, jumping into the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Well, we had 320 yards of penalties last Monday. We're off to a great start here tonight. Arizona's got to stay on sides, but the 49ers have come out with 4 straight passes. I still want to see Frank Gore touch the ball and get involved in this football game.
I got it.
Finally, Alex Smith under center.
1st and 5, a Gore run, nowhere to go, and lose a yard as Dansby was there to make the tackle. Frank Gore, you mentioned 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's been a very solid running back for the Niners during his time. Had a 207-yard game against Seattle, and the Seahawks were befuddled that last week he barely saw the ball.
Well, you know, Frank Gore's gone over 1,000 yards, as you pointed out, 3 straight years. That's never happened in 49er history, and the running game is something you got to stay with to get good at. I hope they continue to press the run issue tonight.
Don't count on it.
Another offside. It's unbelievable. Deeper shot down the field for Delaney Walker. That pass incomplete. And a 3rd hard count caused offside on the Cardinals.
Billy Davis, the defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals, has to be fuming on the sideline. Self-inflicted wounds by the Arizona defense as you see Billy.
Defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, resulting in a 1st down.
You know, that's ridiculous, to be honest with you. Watch the football. Hard count is something you do in every practice, every day of training camp. And at this point in the season, you got to watch a football, get on top of your work.
Remember, they lost yard on the 1st and 5 run, so that's why it's 2nd and less than a yard. And they have 2 backs and fake it and take a shot down the field for Crabtree. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie runs with him every step of the way. 3rd and 1 coming up.
For the most part, the 49ers like to work underneath. They're a quick passing game, a short passing game. 74% of their passes go 10 yards or less from the line of scrimmage, so they like to work underneath. But when teams know that, if I know that, they're going to sit in those routes. You get your shot down the field. Crabtree had a chance. Alex just overthrew him.
Third and short. Ryan Norris, the fullback, leads for Gore. Gets a first down to the 48-yard line in the arms of Dansby. 1st and 10. Smith hit as he throws. Gore catches. Gain of 3. Rodgers-Cromartie with the tackle. The pressure came from Darnell Dockett.
You know, Darnell Dockett the last several weeks has really heated up. He's got 6 sacks in his last 5 games. And you're going to see him right here just get off on the snap count. And he has no problem beating Rachel, the left guard. Darnell Dockett is a Pro Bowl interior lineman, and his ability to rush the passer in that position is a key to Arizona's success, Jaws.
Nice job by Alex Smith, hanging in the pocket, holding on to the football to the last second, allowing Gore to uncover.
Still the game's opening drive. Gore, a gun run to the right. Frank's a half-yard shy of the first down. O'Keefer joining Dansby on the tackle.
You know, I've coached a lot of running backs. Ron, you've played with a lot of different guys. It's different carrying the ball in a shotgun. You got to wait for the center quarterback exchange. It's for a patient style of back. And Frank Gore has made a living in the I formation, running downhill with a head of steam. So this is a huge change for Frank Gore's style as a runner. Hopefully he takes a liking to it, Ron, because he's doing it a lot.
3rd and very short. Gore, first down. It's a good drive. Keeps Kurt Warner on the field. Mike Singletary's offense on these couple of 3rd and shorts doing what Mike, and he's the one, and it fits his profile. Defensive legend from his Bears middle linebacker days. Be a physical running team, and that's what they were going to be. At least he said at the start of the season, Ron.
Well, he started the season that way, but all of a sudden he saw that he had some weapons. Vernon Davis matured, became an outstanding receiving tight end. All of a sudden, Josh Morgan grew up. Michael Crabtree signs his contract. He saw a lot of weapons. He saw explosive plays, and this offense began to morph into a passing style of offense.
Well, that's fine, but remember, the 49ers were 3-1 with Sean Hill, playing percentage football, running the ball, playing defense, solid kicking game. And since they've begun to throw the ball like they have, Ron, they're 2-6. So statistics and passes and all that stuff is great, but winning football games is what it's all about. And I want to see Alex do well, don't get me wrong, but they have not gotten it done in the win-loss column since they've made this change.
Well, I always sometimes wonder, Alex is still an inexperienced quarterback. Yeah, he's been around 5 years, but he doesn't have a whole lot of starts under his belt. So you're putting a lot on his shoulders to carry an offense, especially when you spread it out and have to read coverage every down.
29 of this 5-minute drive. It's a Gore handoff. A lot of bodies in there. Only a gain of a yard. Brian Robinson on the nose made the tackle for the Cardinals.
That Brian Robinson, he's played a long time. He's the anchor of this defense. You know, he plays on the nose most of the time, and they've changed a little bit. In the past, they were a one-gap, get-up-the-field defensive line. Now they're asking their front four to play more of that classic two-gap to try to keep the linebackers clean, and Brian Robinson can certainly do that.
Vernon Davis comes over close to you in the traditional tight end slot. Smith has his pass knocked down and intercepted and then dropped. Let's see if it's an interception and a fumble. It looks like the ruling. Yes, it is. All done by Dockett. Darnell Dockett comes away with it. Robinson had his hands up there as well. And it appears to be the game's first turnover. Is this an incomplete pass or an interception and a fumble? I want you to watch the right foot right there as he catches the ball. I think that may be 2 feet. Right foot, left foot, and then the ball coming out. So in my guess here on Replay Island, I'm going to say that this stays with the Cardinals as an interception and recovered fumble.
What a play by Darnell Dockett. He read the quick drop of Alex Smith, looking in the backfield, read his eyes, timed his jump perfectly. This is a guy at 6'4", almost 300 pounds, go up and make an athletic play like that. Pretty incredible.
It's so close, as so many of these are, and you have to kind of get the essence of the play. That term football move that has been used often, that doesn't exist. That's not a factor in determining is it a fumble or a catch. Here's Jerome Boger.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has been confirmed. The defender caught the ball, got 2 feet down, and started upfield. San Francisco is charged with first team timeout.
That's a good call. You know, when you blitz, a lot of these blitzes nowadays are zone blitzes, and the blitz came away from Darnell Dockett. Take a look at this, Jaws. Well, we didn't get that one, but when you get a lot of these blitzes on the weak side, sometimes on the play side, the defensive ends are looping outside to contain, and that's what Darnell Dockett was doing. He was in a contain rush situation. He timed a 3-step drop and made an athletic play.
Well, the guys had defensive line problems that whole drive with all the offsides on the hard counts. The D-line makes up for it with the Dockett interception. So Warner and the Cardinals offense taking over at its own 46. And Kurt will hand to Tim Hightower, who's only going to gain a yard. Takeo Spikes in on the tackle. Kurt Warner, another season silencing the Hall of Fame doubters. Ron told you earlier, set out a couple of weeks ago against Tennessee. He had a concussion against St. Louis. After effects, he decided not to play against Tennessee. Came back against Minnesota and lit it up against the Vikings. 3 touchdowns, 285 yards. Player of the week in the conference.
I don't know who those doubters are, but they ought to get a clue.
Beanie Wells comes into the backfield. It's a 3-man rush. Justin Smith got there. Hit Warner. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Breston. Good job by a hard-working D lineman, Justin Smith.
You know, Justin Smith doesn't always get the numbers in terms of sacks, but boy, he disrupts a lot of plays. Here he is on the edge. It's a short corner. It's a soft set over there, and Justin Smith is pouring it on from Warner's backside. And that's a matchup I think the 49ers are going to exploit tonight. Gandy's been hurt on that left side, and Bridges played last week. Look for more of that.
Third and 9, Warner loading down the seam. It's broken up. A great play by Dre Bly, the veteran. 3-and-out Arizona.
Dre Bly with an amazing play as Steve Breston was streaking down the center of the field, right down the hash. He was open, but Dre Bly showed amazing athleticism to make this play. You'll see Warner in the pocket, and he throws this route as well as anyone. There's the seam. Dre Bly just gets his hand up to knock it down.
Great play.
Dre, a former teammate of Warner's in St. Louis. Ben Graham, outstanding at pinning the opponent inside the 20 this year. That one counts statistically, but not what he wanted to do. Holiday spirit all around here in the Bay Area. A lot of holiday shoppers yesterday in Union Square downtown in San Francisco. We're at Candlestick, scoreless. Just inside of 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Arizona trying to win the division back-to-back years, which has not happened since the 70s. Chance to do that with a win here tonight. First Niner drive was 10 plays before the interception. Time for Smith. He'll throw it to Gore, so it'll technically be a run, and it'll be no gain. Post second down coming up. Kurt Warner, we talked about the concussion earlier, suffered a hip pointer at the end of the Vikings game and was limping a lot at the very end of that game. said there were no ill effects of it, but as Justin Smith brought him down earlier on that first pass attempt by Warner, you can see he got up a little gingerly and being looked at on the sideline. Groin or hip, so we're going to have to keep an eye on Kurt Warner as Matt Leinart, the backup, is warming up for Arizona. Second and 10, Crabtree, the rookie out of Texas Tech. Needs about 7 before Calais Campbell stops him. Let's give him a gain of 8.
You know, when the 49ers jump in this no-back set, watching Arizona carefully, they're not going to let them do that for very long. They're going to blitz that no-back formation all night long, and they're going to have one more that San Francisco can pick up. So Alex Smith does a nice job getting to his quick throw to the outside, and that's a good guy to get the ball to, Michael Crabtree, because he can run with it after he catches it.
Yeah, you can include the Cardinals as one of those teams. When teams go empty, they're getting after the quarterback. They're going to see how many hits he will take, how much he will sacrifice his body to get the ball out.
Third and short, the fullback is in. Gore is running into the secondary. Frank Gore up the middle, brought down by Dansby at the 37. The pickup was 36.
Well, that's a good old-fashioned run. That's a smash mouth play. Look at 96, Power King. The backside guard's going to pull and take Frank Gore to daylight. You see Norris on a good kick out. That's a nice job up in the hole by Gore. And when he gets into the open field, he's hard to bring down.
Boy, David Boz, a left guard, coming around the horn, did a terrific job on the kick-out block. John, you mentioned Moran Norris. Well done by Frank Gore. That'll get his motor running.
From the 37, Smith. Down. Sacked by Calais Campbell in his second year out of Miami, out of the U. That is now 6 sacks for this emerging player.
In this situation, you've got to get the ball out of your hand. You're in field goal range. The quarterback, Alex Smith, has to have that clock in his head. The ball's got to come out. You'll see it right here as he sets up in the pocket. Here comes the pressure. Back foot hits. Wait. But you got to sense the pressure. Check it down. Know where your guarantee passes. When there's pressure, you can unload the ball on someone, particularly when the Cardinals go zone, which they did.
Been a lot of snaps in this first quarter already for the Cardinal defense. They're rotating up front. Loss of 6 on the sack. Smith throws, incomplete. Pass was intended for Crabtree. This is a team that has not helped its quarterback over the last couple of games. Crabtree, he's just kind of figuring it out. Remember, he had the foot injury at the end of last season. In college, his stock dropped in the draft, was finally taken by the Niners, held out for 71 days, missed all of camp the first 5 games, and walked right into the starting lineup and has become a big part of this passing offense.
And Mike, that is that timing right there. That throw was just maybe a foot off, but that's what happens. That's the fine line between being complete and incomplete. It's a matter of inches. The timing just isn't completely there yet.
Third and long. Try to get at least in field goal range. Smith fires. Contested route for Brandon Jones. Incomplete. No flag on Bryant McFadden.
I think this is a big difference in the Arizona Cardinals this year on defense than last year. They are much better at the cornerback position. And McFadden, remember, he came over from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he has really given them consistent, stable play at that right corner position. When you have him and Roger Cromartie on the other side, those are 2 good-looking corners.
Andy Lee, one of the best punters in the NFL, will come in. He's Reston back deep. Lee kicks it end over end to try to keep it inside the 10. Works to perfection down inside the 5. We'll see how he's able to do tonight with that hip injury at age 38. Hightower spinning. Shy of the 10, put the ball on the ground, but they rule him down. We heard the whistle, and that has been a huge problem with Hightower. He has fumbled in the first quarter and lost it 3 times this year.
They might want to give it to Beanie Wells in the first quarter.
Yeah, right.
You know, Tim Hightower, this could be a fumble. This is close. That is a fumble.
That's a fumble, you're right. That's a fumble, and it was whistled But is there a clear recovery by Dre Bly? Yes. Now, San Francisco will challenge. This is going to be their last challenge of the game. They lost the first. You can't get a third. So Singletary's emptied the challenge bucket here early in the first quarter, but it may get his team the ball inside the 10.
I think he's going to win this one.
5th-round pick out of Richmond last year, Tim Hightower. He's emerged as a better runner, but has had real fumbling problems. We think this is going to be a fumble in 49er ball. John, you saw it live on that hit by the safety. Sean Goldson knocked it out and was recovered by Dre Bly. Now, because it wasn't called a fumble on the field, you do not get the result of the play, which was a Dre Bly scoop and score. What you would get would be possession of the ball at that spot that Bly got it, the 9-yard line. As long as there's a clear recovery, and obviously that is a clear one.
Well, that shouldn't even be an issue.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is even an issue. Let these players play.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is reversed to a fumble, recovered by San Francisco at the 8-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 4 minutes, 39 seconds. San Francisco is not charged a team timeout, but they are done with replay challenges for the first half.
For the whole game, actually. They're done for the whole game.
When you look at Ken Wisenhunt's teams, when they don't win the turnover battle, they don't win the football game. They're 2-16 when they lose the turnover battle, and you can see why. Tim Hightower, if he's going to move forward and become that every down back, you got to take care of the ball. These are backbreakers, especially on the road against a team like the 49ers who have their back against the wall.
Well, Wisenhunt was telling us last night when we met with him about Hightower and how he's coming along as a complete player. He can run the football. He can pass protect. He can run routes out the backfield, catch the football. But you can't turn the football over. That graphic there is crystal clear, and that's historic around the NFL. You lose that turnover battle, you got an 80% chance of losing the football game.
Hightower's 5th fumble, the 4th he has lost. All the losses coming in the first quarter. Here's a golden chance for the Niners to take the lead. Gore, good move. Gets him down inside the 6-yard line.
You know, last week San Francisco had the ball down here at the 1-yard line against the Seahawks. 3rd and goal at the 1. They threw the ball incomplete. 4th and goal, they throw it again incomplete. I got a feeling offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray is going to get a good look at Frank Gore inside the 5 this week.
Not right now. He's on the sideline.
Yeah, Gore took himself out here. The rookie out of Alabama, Glenn Coffey, is the running back. Crabtree and Davis, their 2 best young players at the bottom. And Smith throws to Davis. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Alex Smith does an outstanding job of sticking this ball in there, putting it on the body of Vernon Davis. Tight coverage by Adrian Wilson. You'll see the physical stature of Vernon Davis. He's big and strong, 6'3", 250 pounds, just pushing a big, strong defender on Wade, Adrian Wilson. But Alex Smith put it on the body, accurate throw.
Joe Nedney adds the extra point. Lerod Stevens-Howling, rookie out of Pittsburgh, who's taken one back 99 yards this year. This one would be 96 if he goes all the way. But he won't. Tackled out by the 25-yard line by Scott McKillop, a backup linebacker. A charged up and fired up 49ers defense after the turnover on the last snap.
Let's take a look at the fumble. Watch Takeo Spikes in the hole and Deshaun Goldston make this tackle and force this fumble. But this is Mike Singletary football. Spikes stuffs the tight end. Bang. Unblocked free safety capping off. And look at Bridges after his young back. You can't turn the ball over. You hold the organization in your hands.
Drive started at the 25. Beanie Wells, the rookie out of Ohio State, is the running back. Warner throws complete to Bolden, gain of 6. Lerod Stevens-Howling in the game and now in the pattern. And in the scorebook with a catch and a fumble recovered by the Niners. Mark Roman on the run. Roman inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. So the young backs are putting it on the ground for the Cardinals tonight. Patrick Willis made the play.
Well, Arizona had everything they wanted right there. They motion Howling out of the backfield. They get him one-on-one with a linebacker. The only problem is that linebacker is Patrick Willis. And Howling does a nice job crossing face. Ball's well thrown. But Patrick Willis is built perfectly to play in space. He's got 4.4 speed. He can run like a DB. But what a great job by Patrick Willis forcing a fumble.
Well, he punched that thing out, and I'm sure Mike Singletary works on this every single day. You know, it's an old Buddy Ryan trait where Mike Singletary learned his trade, knock that ball out, create turnovers.
And I got that as a fumble, 2 steps, clearly after possession. What a great chance for the Niners to go up 2 scores. Smith got time. Out of the backfield is the fullback Norris, who's obliterated by Clark Higgins. Cardinals defense trying to make a stand as their offense tries to figure out if they can keep it together. Look at Anquan Bolden, leader on that offense, getting after all of his guys, receivers and backs, all together for a word of focus.
Well, they had a big win last week against the Minnesota Vikings. The Cardinals did, and they were feeling good about themselves. But this has kind of been their history. They get it going, then they stub their toe a little bit. The leadership is now taking that leadership role on the sideline.
Second and 7. Bubble it out to Delaney Walker. Usually good after the catch, but a good job by Antrell Roll right from the start. Hanging on to his legs. Only a gain of a couple of yards. Guys, Delaney Walker out of Central Missouri. 6th-round pick 4 years ago. He's become a good factor in this offense here the last couple of games.
Well, he's an interesting guy. He's a matchup problem for all kind of defenses. Do you play nickel or do you play your base defense? This guy has 20 tackles on special teams. He returns kickoffs. He's got rare athletic ability, and Mike Singletary likes to use him to create matchups for the 49ers.
Cardinals go with half a dozen DBs on 3rd and 5. And they bring a half dozen at Smith, who throws, caught by Crabtree. Great open field play by Bryant McFadden. Keeps him from a run after the catch. He's going to be a yard shy of the first down, and the field goal attempt coming.
And the Cardinals came with pressure up the middle. You'll see it right here. They want to get in Alex Smith's face quickly. Here's the pressure. Both A-gaps taken. Adrian Wilson up the middle. And you see the throw is going to be just short of the first down.
He gave Crabtree forward progress. You saw where he was being tackled, but his forward progress was at the 20. So it'll get Joe Nedney, the lefty, out there for a field goal, officially 37 yards. Out of the hold of Andy Lee. That kick is good, and the Niners have put up the first 10 points.
If you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, this is a pretty shocking beginning to this football game. Arizona's only run 6 plays with 33 seconds to go here in the first half and turned the ball over twice. San Francisco dominating.
Well, you have 2 young running backs. We haven't seen much of Beanie Wells yet, but Tim Hightower, you've seen Stevens Howling. All these young backs, they come into your office, they say, hey, I want to be an every down back. I want to play on 1st down, 3rd down. I want to play on every down. The thing they got to understand is you got to protect the ball on every down. That's the storyline here of this football game. 2 young backs turning the football over. You got to credit San Francisco, but that is very uncharacteristic of a team that's going to win their division potentially.
But John, when do they stop being rookies? I mean, this, you know, we're in week 14 right now. Sooner or later, you got to understand, as you said a moment ago, you hold the future of the franchise in your hand when you're toting that rock. You can't drop it on the ground. When do these guys learn how important that is?
Well, they've jumped off sides 3 times on defense. They've turned the ball over twice. Not a very good-looking performance by Arizona.
Taking it from the 3 is Stevens Howling. Getting to the left side, trying to turn the corner. The kicker, Nedney's going to escort him to the sideline. But we have flags down. 2 of them going to send the Cardinals back with a hold.
Got to get Ralph Brown, number 20, on a hold here.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 20. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, you guys talked about it. Jumping off sides, that penalty there. Arizona has had a mistake-filled first quarter. We talked to Ken Wisenhunt, their head coach, last night about organization and culture change. And do you feel like your guys have turned the corner with that Minnesota win? He said, well, we'll see. Because this is an organization that has always found a way to mess it up. You know what I mean?
They were in a Super Bowl last year, so I think the culture's already changed.
Right.
If they want to get back there, they better pick it up here quickly.
That's why I was surprised at his answer, as you see these guys trying to find some inner strength to stop the tide here. Beanie Wells is the lone back. Keep his legs turning past the line of scrimmage. Harrison, the first one to put a glove on him, and that'll bring the first quarter to an end.
And the Cardinals come out with one of those attitude runs. You know, they're angry right now. Offensive line, you're screaming the sidelines. All right, let's come off the ball and let's smash someone in the face with the power running game.
And they got Beanie Wells in there now, hoping he can hang on to it.
Second quarter begins with 2nd and 7. Nothing for Fitzgerald yet. A pass incomplete. Contact. Bolden looking for a flag. He doesn't get it. 2nd and 7. Warner with time and an open receiver across the middle. It's early Doucette, the 4th receiver. Brought down by Bly and Smith. Keith Smith for a first down.
Kurt Warner, we opened this show talking about the courage to hang in the pocket. You're going to see the pressure from his left side, the blitz off the corner. It's coming, but he's got to hold on to the football and allow early Doucette to get in that void of the defense. As a quarterback, you develop that sense of when the pressure's coming, when you need to get rid of the football. I don't know if anyone does it better than Kurt Warner.
Boy, he loves to throw that big dig, that deep inside breaking route to these big wideouts.
He told me he built his house on that route.
After Arizona's first down. A run to the left with Wells. He turns the corner. And Beanie Wells goes into Niner territory. Goldson takes him down to 46. Gain of 23.
This is the first-round draft choice out of the Ohio State. Chris Beanie Wells. Simple off-tackle play to the left. Gets a nice kick-out block, and off he goes. And, you know, the 49ers talked about this. Setting the edge of our defense. We cannot get outflanked. The Atlanta Falcons hurt San Francisco earlier in the season. There's a case right there where the 49ers are outflanked, and that's a problem against Beanie Wells.
Play action to Wells. Warner loads. Shot downfield for Fitzgerald, who around 3 players couldn't bring it in, or did he? It's taken away from Fitzgerald and now ruled incomplete. At first, the official, the back judge back there, was about to call it a Fitzgerald catch. Then it was pulled away. As you watch the replay, remember, the Niners can't challenge the rest of the night.
The rule on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
I think Arizona's going to challenge that.
Well, it can't be incomplete because the ball never hit the ground. Let's start with that. Arizona getting one look at it on the big screen here. Fitzgerald goes down with possession of the ball. The question is it being pulled away from him?
Can you believe?
Wow,
I think it's a catch for Fitzgerald.
Golston takes it away when he's on the ground.
Well, that's probably why they ruled it incomplete on the rollover by Golston as he comes out. There'll only be one more challenge after this one. San Francisco's exhausted its 2. Arizona, it's first here. There's a lot of stuff going on in this play as Fitzgerald, with 3 defenders back, grabs it. Now he's going to be contacted by the Niner defenders as he goes down to the ground. Does he maintain control after being contacted going to the ground here? You'll watch the ball start to come out, and then as it comes out, it goes into the hands of Goldson. And that last angle we showed you, you'll see here. As Goldson rolls over, the tip of the ball will touch the ground.
I think the official's going to be under the hood for a while looking at this.
Get some popcorn.
I think could end up being incomplete because of that. They may rule that as the reason it's incomplete at the back end.
I don't believe Larry Fitzgerald ever had total possession of the football. I agree with you, Mike. It'll be incomplete. Let's see.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the stands is the incomplete pass. The receiver did not maintain possession of the football throughout the process of completing the catch. Arizona is charged its first team timeout.
Okay, so because he was contacted in the air, he has to. What are you laughing at? He's got to maintain possession.
How can you not reward the guy with a catch? How long do you have to have possession, Mr. Referee?
Let me finish.
You caught it. You went down on the ground. You're dragging guys all over you.
Hey, remember your friend Wayne Fonts joined us a couple weeks ago in New Orleans? He said, it's a fumble. It's a fumble. That the ball was out. Never had control of it. It's that simple.
For you replay nerds at home, because he was contacted in the air as he went down to the ground, he had to keep it all the way through that act. So once he lost it on the ground, it was no longer his ball. 2nd and 10, Warner. Fitzgerald's got that. Got a first down at the 33. Wants a face mask, and he has that flag from the back. At 15, and the Cardinals are going to get it at the 18.
One of the things the Arizona Cardinals do a great job of is picking up blitzes. And Tim Hightower delivered a beautiful pickup on Warner's backside.
At the end of the play, personal foul, face mask, defense, number 36, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Take a look at the blitz coming off the weak side. And, when you're protecting Kurt Warner's blind side, you see a defensive back coming like that, that's exactly what you want to see done. A firm flush pickup. And there you see Fitzgerald, obvious face mask. I hope we don't break another record for penalties tonight, guys.
Yeah, another dig route to Larry Fitzgerald. As Kurt, as I said earlier, built his house on that. He's starting on a vacation home tonight.
First flag on San Francisco. First trip to the red zone, Arizona. 5 in the pattern. Warner picking and choosing. Preston broke free. Just a half step away. 2nd and 10 with a run with Wells to the right. Out of an arm tackle. Flag down as Wells is hit down hard right at the first down marker.
Well, it looks like they're going to get Larry Fitzgerald on a block in the back right here.
Wow, this one is really close. From our vantage point, it looked like a pretty clean block, but side judge a little better view than I have.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 11. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
He had a better view than I had. It was a block in the back.
Well, these 49ers safeties, if you just look at statistics, and Deshaun Goldson, number 38, number 32, Michael Lewis, these two safeties are closing in on 100 tackles. These guys are around the football a lot, and if you want to run the ball, you have to block them. But the Cardinals have their receivers split so wide, sometimes that's tough. And Larry got caught right there with an infraction.
Stephen Towling is the back. Niners were getting their D-line set up. They dropped 9 in coverage. Warner's pass is intercepted. That's one of those safeties. Goldson. And 3 Cardinal turnovers in the first 15 minutes.
That was a poor decision by Kurt Warner. That throw was not there. He forced it.
Kurt Warner's had a very good run, but that was the first time he's been intercepted in 130 passes, and it gives Arizona a 3rd turnover here on the night.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll get to it, but Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, had a little scheme there. He schemed that interception.
First couple of turnovers have turned into 10 points for the Niners. This one would require a long drive or a big play. They think there was movement on the end, and they got it.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Let's look at the interception. Let me show you a loaded zone. Justin Smith is going to drop, so you're going to see 2 deep and 7 men underneath playing zone coverage against Kurt Warner. That's a 2-man rush. That is a loaded zone, and Kurt's got to know better.
So 2 rush, 2 deep. That puts 7 underneath, John. Those are small windows to throw into.
And Goltz in the third-year safety, first year as a starter, gets his 3rd interception of the season. 1st and 15 now, and a huge opening for Gore. Gore stays on his feet, out of the roll tackle, out to the 38-yard line. 31 on the game.
Well, I'd come right back to him, Jaws. You know, when this guy gets hot, he's real hot. He's gone over 200 yards in football games, but this is just an isolation draw off the right side, and Frank Gore runs right through Antrell Roll, and he's closing in on 100 yards in this first half already.
Those are 2 guys who know each other, former Canes. They were at Miami at the same time. Both came out in the 2005 draft. Gore 9 carries tonight, 83 yards. They go right back there, and only a gain of 1 for Frank.
Well, watching Frank Gore tonight, you wonder why they became a pass-happy football team. They're having success running the football, the power running game, and to me, that plays to a young quarterback like Alex Smith.
Replaced by Glenn Coffey. Smith has another pass knocked down, completes it to himself. And they lose yardage. About 5. Darnell Dockett, who earlier tonight intercepted one like that.
Well, these teams know each other. Darnell Dockett, he knows Alex Smith is going to throw the quick game time and time again. Neither one of these teams push the ball. So Darnell Dockett reads a short set by a tackle, and he just sees the 3-step drop, and he's up there. Man.
That's a vertical, man. For a guy 6'4", 285, it's a heck of a vertical.
That's one way to defend the 3-step passing game. If you can't get there with pressure, get your hands up, and all of these defensive linemen for Arizona are 6'4" or better.
Loss of time, 3rd and 15. Here comes a big blitz up the middle. Trying to get it for the screen to Coffey, but that was blown up by some of the blitz action. So the pressure of Antrell Roll and company limit the Niners to just the big run by Gore after the turnover.
That was a good stop by the Cardinals, but they have got to get their offense going. They've only run 14 plays to this point. 3 turnovers. At least the defense can give them an opportunity to get the ball back, try to generate some offense.
Steve Breston back to take the Andy Lee punt. 2nd in the league in punting average. Breston says stay away. Now picks it up on the bounce. A 47-yard kick. And Breston is snowed under. Is that another marker down? Yes, it is. Back by the kick spot.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, the kicking team, number 86. The 10-yard penalty will be tacked on to the end of the kick. Arizona keeps the ball. 1st down.
So another one for Lee. It's a better kick. It's 49 yards. Breston from the 28 trying to set up a return. Trying to get to the outside, and a good open field play is made by the receiver, Jason Hill. Oh, and John, I believe we have another flag down.
It's hard to have a conversation up here with you guys. Waiting to hear what the next penalty is.
During the kick, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team, number 27, blocking the player while being out of bounds. Half the distance from the end of the kick. 1st down.
So often those gunners will be pushed by the blockers out of bounds on the sideline. You got to wait till they get back in to tag them again. Adams 27. Run him into Russ Grimm. I guess the run back into Russ Grimm as he was contacting him on the white before he hit Russ was the penalty. The 9th one accepted tonight.
Surprised Russ Grimm didn't nail him himself. One of those big old hogs. You know, Russ had a little edge to him.
Let's let these guys play a little bit here.
There's Russ, man. What a player. Oh, my goodness. As good as he gets on the little line right there.
So by taking the penalty in the re-kick, Arizona, because of that flag, ends up in worse field position. Wells is the running back. Apply the pressure on Warner. Bolden gets hit hard, but hangs on. Stevens howling in at running back. Figures to be a pass. And the run. It only gained a couple of yards. Just the 4th carry on the year for Stevens Howland.
The San Francisco 49ers like to use a lot of movement with their defensive line. And sometimes when you run a draw play, that stunt is hard to pick up. And you'll see Justin Smith loop all the way around here to the left and be unaccounted for on this delayed TE stunt. They like that here in San Francisco.
TE, tackle into the end.
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just proving I can pass your class. Football 101 with the professor here. 3rd and 4. Warner, that inbounds? No, out of bounds. Breaston couldn't get his feet down. And Jaws, this is such a good rhythm offense, and they have not had any rhythm here tonight.
And the San Francisco 49ers are bringing pressure. They're forcing Kurt Warner to get rid of the ball quickly. Here you can clearly see Breaston only drags 1 foot, 1 out of bounds. What you want to do is disrupt a timing and rhythm offense. Number 1, with pressure. Number 2, rerouting those receivers at the line of scrimmage. Do not allow Kurt Warner to get comfortable. So far, so good by the 49ers.
Yeah, that's a day 1 fundamental by Breaston right there. You have got to know where the 12th man is, and that's the sideline.
Former Australian rules kicker Ben Graham bombs one. 55 on the kick. Former Notre Damer Arnez Battle. Return of 6 out at the 31. They net 49 yards on it, and there's no flags. Alex Smith, the number 1 overall pick. Good pass to Josh Morgan, gain of about 8.5 in front of Adrian Wilson. John, you were here right as the Bill Walsh era was going, and they had the best offensive system, the one everybody seems to run a bit of now.
Well, it was a great system, and Bill Walsh passed it down to George Seifert, but they brought in Paul Hackett, Mike Holmgren, Mike Shanahan, Steve Mariucci, and for years they produced great offenses and outstanding quarterback play. And in the last 8 years, they've had 8 different offensive coordinators. They're trying to find an identity, but this was the mecca of the West Coast offense.
Halfway through the quarter, 2nd and 2. Gore having a big night. First down at the 48-yard line. You mentioned the coordinators. There are names people know and very good coaches. Like Mike McCarthy, all these, the Alex Smith era. Norv Turner, Jim Hostler, Mike Martz. Last year, Jimmy Ray this year. And that's the continuity. You can't have a young quarterback, John, and do this to him.
No, you can't. And not only is it hard to develop a quarterback with all this system change, it's hard to draft players because you don't know who you're drafting to fit what system. And I think that's been part of the problem here in San Francisco, to say the least.
5 different coordinators, 5 years for Smith, who's hit as he throws. It's ruled an incomplete pass as he was pressured by Carlos Dansby.
You know, Mike, I played for 17 years, 4 different systems. When you look at what Alex Smith has go through, it's 5 different systems in 5 years, and he has to learn 5 different languages. There are digital systems team may call 787. Other teams may call it 60 dig. This could be the same play, but it's totally different. And all of a sudden, you got new personalities of coaches that you have to deal with. A laid-back guy like Norv Turner, a high-strung guy like Mike Martz. The quarterback has to adjust to all these different personalities as well as different offensive schemes.
This is 2nd and 10. Cardinals rushing 5. Smith throws underneath for Morgan. That's incomplete with Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie tailgating him. 3rd down coming up.
But when you get with a young quarterback, you start from ground zero. You teach him the terminology, the formations, the pass protections, the nomenclature in terms of the running game. And Alex Smith has had to relearn everything. He's had to forget a lot of things that he learned the previous year. So I think it has really kept the car in the garage in terms of his development. And they are trying to find out what this young man has in the final month of the season and see if he can become the next leader of this franchise.
Well, he has adjusted well to this shotgun formation. Remember Utah, that's what he ran out of. This is his comfort zone right there when he's in the gun.
Here come the Cardinals. There's the throw. Crabtree falls down, gets up, makes a man miss, and gets the 1st down at the 37. Great individual job by Crabtree and Smith getting it out of his hand.
This is what a quarterback loves. When you can throw a little 4-yard underneath route. As you see Smith set up, he gets rid of the football. Now your receiver's in space. He falls down, but Crabtree gets up, knocking people out of the way. Short pass, long run. Quarterbacks love it. Move the chains. This is what Michael Crabtree brings to this 49er offense. Explosiveness.
Took a pass of 5, turned it into a gain of 15. First double-digit passing gain for the Niners tonight. Gore left, gets about 4 to the 33-yard line. Jaws, you referred to it before the third down. Let's remember when Alex Smith came out, he was with Urban Meyer, then the coach at Utah, undefeated season, played in the Fiesta Bowl, a BCS team. But that system was so foreign to what he saw in the NFL, so you have that plus the 5 years of the coordinator of the month club coming through here.
Yeah, Mike, it takes time for a quarterback to develop in any system, especially when you come out of a college that was that spread option. They didn't read progressions. They didn't read the defense. It was an either-or kind of throw. All of a sudden, you come to the NFL, the complex, sophisticated defense compounded by complex, sophisticated offense. It takes time.
2nd and 7, rolling and throwing to Morgan that had nothing, no chance. Adrian Wilson, captain of this defense, for a loss of a couple.
That's good design by San Francisco, but Adrian Wilson's a hard guy to fool. Watch the fake to the left, and you see Josh sliding across the formation, and Adrian Wilson playing man coverage isn't fooled at all. That's a big stop right there for the Arizona Cardinals. Key third down situation, both sides.
From here, field goal would be 53 yards. It's a rare, calm, not windy night at Candlestick. Smith with time, throwing for Davis, broken up by Wilson as Roll came over to tag him afterwards, just a step away.
What a play by Adrian Wilson. This is the signature route of Vernon Davis, the seam route down the middle. Vernon Davis, number 85, can fly. He is matched up on Adrian Wilson down the hole against that cover 2. Wilson does a magnificent job of locating the ball and knocking it away.
All right, we've had one 50-yard field goal this year by Joe Nedney. It was in Arizona. This one's a 53-yarder, and he's made 7 of them in his career. No good. Just hooked to the right.
Well, that's big-time football player there, Adrian Wilson. He needs 1 sack to become the 10th player to enter the 2020 club, 20 interceptions and 20 sacks. He reminds me of that Larry Wilson. Used to play against you for the Cardinals.
He hit a few people like that, too.
Back in the St. Louis Cardinal days. Arizona's lucky to be only down 10-0. They can erase it quickly. Warner to Preston, complete into 49er territory at the 42.
This is amazing. The Cardinals being dominated in this football game. Where's Larry Fitzgerald? Where's Anquan Bolden? Of course, when you look at Arizona, they've only run 18 plays in this game. It's hard to get those guys involved.
Don't forget, Bolden, Preston, and Fitzgerald all had over 1,000 yards last year, and all 3 are healthy for the first time really all season.
Run to the left with Wells. Inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. You talk about their receiving yards. We talk about 100-yard games seem to stick in our mind, but what's a good game? Consider this. In NFL history, minimum 50 games played, most receiving yards per game. There's Bolden with 80 and Fitzgerald with 79. It gives you an idea of how productive these guys have been in the Kurt Warner Cardinal era. But tonight, as has been the case in other games against the Niners, San Francisco doing a good job.
Well, make no mistake, the NFL is now a passing league. The numbers will continue to go up.
Throw to Stevens, Howling was over his head and incomplete. Now Warner missed that one.
I think you got to credit Ken Wisenhunt. You know, he came to Arizona from the Pittsburgh Steelers. There was a time in Pittsburgh he ran the ball more than any guy ever. He called 21 straight runs in a game in Pittsburgh. He's come here to Arizona. He's really adapted to the personnel that he has. And he and Russ Grimm, you'll see elements, flashes of that Pittsburgh Steeler power running game that they once had. But they are definitely an open style, air it out offense, and you can see why.
Niners bring 5 to Warner, who gets time and throws an interception to Terrell Brown. What in the world is going on in Cardinal land? 4 turnovers for Arizona.
Pressure on Kurt Warner. It started with the pressure. Then he did not get good definition of what the secondary of the 49ers was doing. He threw it right into the coverage.
Well, no question. You're going to see a line stunt, and it's going to be unaccounted for. But I don't know if Anquan stopped running. Take a look at it. Anquan Bolden on a simple under route. He sees the defender waiting on him, and it looked like Anquan felt Kurt was going to go elsewhere with the football. But Terrell Brown, Johnny on the spot. 4 turnovers for the San Francisco defense. And this is a heck of an offense that doesn't turn it over very often.
Yeah, and a nice twist. You mentioned that pressure, John. It was Paris Harrelson coming up the middle. Kurt did not get good definition. Another ill-advised throw by Warner.
Gore is in the slot. The backfield is empty for Smith. 4 turnovers for the Cardinals. Smith comes down to Gore. Dances with Wilson. Goes to the sideline at the 40. If you're wondering, the last time the Niners had 4 turnovers in the first half of a game, end of the 0-1 season against the Saints 8 years ago. Remember, Kurt Warner had a 5 interception game against Carolina at the start of November. It was one of those days that nothing clicked, and then his pass offense was rolling in the 4 games after that.
Rolling, that's an understatement. He was 73% complete. He had 12 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he was hot. But right now, this 49er defense is just taking everything away.
Approaching the 2-minute warning. This will be penalty number 10 of the half.
The layup game, offense, 5 penalty, still second down.
Well, thus far, quiet numbers for the big pieces of the Arizona offense. Warner with 9 incompletions in his 15 throws and 2 interceptions. Fitzgerald just 1 catch for 13, and Bolden 2 for 10. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. San Francisco 49ers trying to keep Arizona from clinching the division here at Candlestick. Their defense has done the job, turning them over and leading 10-0. 2nd and 7. They block downfield as they throw it for Jason Hill. Works up the sideline. 3rd-year receiver out of Washington State. Gets a San Francisco first down.
That's nice work by Alex Smith. You see the Arizona Cardinals with the old swarm blitz. Everybody blitzing up the middle. Alex Smith on a run play has the option to pull it and throw the ball to the bubble screen. Nice built-in play by the 49ers. And they've got Arizona on the ropes right here at the end of the half, Jaws.
On the ropes, big time.
Remember, the Niners are out of challenges, but we're inside the 2-minute warning, so all reviews are from upstairs in the booth. Smith has a pocket. Couldn't get Crabtree. Cutting across. Incomplete.
The 49ers are a team that normally does not throw the ball deep down the field. You watch this game, everything's the underneath stuff. There he runs Crabtree on the deep dig. Got to hit that throw. Got to hit that throw. Just got a little bit too far out in front of him. Again, Crabtree missed all of training camp. Missed the early part of the season. It's going to take time to develop that chemistry. So it's absolutely seamless. Right now, they're struggling to find that rhythm.
Remember, he too came out of a spread offensive system at Texas Tech, so he's learning on the run as well. Out of his hands quick for Crabtree. Not even close. That's basic 101 stuff that the Niners mess up there.
Okay, I've been talking to timing being off just a little bit. It was off a lot on that throw right there. That was. This is not the type of execution you normally see in the National Football League right here.
I don't know what that route was. Looked like a wide departure hitch route. Clearly, Alex and Michael Crabtree are not on the same page. But, you know, San Francisco is 12 out of 23 passing for 57 yards. And at some point in time, you got to have a big play in the passing game.
And only 4 of those balls have gone more than 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, and Alex Smith is 0 for 4 on those throws.
This is 3rd and 10. Stepping up and throwing. It is caught by Davis, who goes down with a first down. Good job by Vernon Davis in front of Adrian Wilson.
Not a good job, Mike. That was a great job by Vernon Davis. He is big, he is strong, and he really has strong hands. You'll see once again the coverage coming from Adrian Wilson on the backside. Nice throw by Alex Smith. Threw him open. Threw it to the other shoulder away from Adrian Wilson.
After a gain of 13, this one's caught by Morgan. Knocked down hard by Rogers Cromartie. Gain of 7.
And this is an area, talking to Adrian Wilson and some of the Cardinal players, they have got to improve in their 2-minute defense. It's let them down in the Super Bowl. It let them down a couple weeks ago against Tennessee.
Smith. What a catch by Crabtree. On the run. Crabtree. Touchdown.
John, you were right on cue. The Achilles heel for the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, in that loss to Tennessee, in that 2-minute period. They don't generate pressure on the quarterback. He gets time, and you get a big-time throw from Alex Smith to Michael Crabtree for the 49er touchdown.
Extra point, Joe Nedney. Stunner at the stick. 17-0. All the points off turnover for Crabtree, his 2nd touchdown in his career.
Well, this route takes a long time. It's a dagger, we used to call it. Watch the clearing route by the slot receiver, and Alex Smith has all day to throw the football, but it's an accurate throw, and that's why they took Michael Crabtree out of Texas Tech in the 1st round. But you got to really like what number 84, Josh Morgan, did there, clearing out that deep zone. Nice. And what a nice catch. Those are 2 great catches by Vernon Davis and Michael Crabtree. No wonder they're throwing the ball. Okay. I see why they're throwing the ball.
Oh, you believe now,
you're on board, right?
Well, that's what they're going to say, all these analysts. That's a great job. But this 2-minute defense of the Arizona Cardinals is a problem. And when you're down 17-0 on the road, you're going to find out a lot about your football character.
John, what do you say? Yeah, you came in here as a favorite. You're going to clinch division. You're getting just dusted away right here. 17-0. What do you say to your football team?
I say, hey, last year the Denver Broncos had a 3-game lead with 4 games left, and they didn't get it done. And that's what's going to happen here if we don't get it together.
Nedney kicks to Stevens, howling at the 4. Rookie out of Pittsburgh, spins to open space. That'll be taken down at the 41-yard line. Nice return. Gives Warner and the Cardinals a chance with 2 timeouts in 42 seconds. It's been a very good night for the San Francisco defense, which has improved this year. Warner throws underneath Bolden. He gets it near midfield. Arizona will take a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining with 34 seconds to go.
Arizona's got to play much better.
Some momentum into the locker room would help. Warner flushed. Fitzgerald's got a first down at the 42. 1 timeout left, 25 seconds. Exchanging receivers to the other side here. It's going to take some time. Wow, a lot of time running off here. As Warner loses the football. That is 5 first-half turnovers. Ahmad Brooks knocked it away. Justin Smith recovered. Good heavens.
Well, even prior to the snap of the football, the Cardinals looked disorganized. The clock was running down. It's a veteran football team that is making totally uncharacteristic mistakes. Poor protection, poor ball security, interceptions, penalties, and the list goes on.
Yeah, and Ahmad Brooks was just inserted as a nickel specialist pass rusher a couple weeks ago. He replaces Manny Lawson, and this guy has really come in and done some great things. Ahmad Brooks as a nickel pass rusher, that's a backbreaker right there for Arizona.
7 seconds, 2 timeouts. Niners send trips to the right. They're going to try to add something to it here. One receiver left. Smith goes to that receiver left. Crabtree couldn't get the out. I don't think that would have done enough to get him in field goal range, but might have gotten him closer for an end zone shot.
And this is an area, we used to call this the last 6. You draw up these desperation plays for this situation. You try to do exactly what San Francisco did there. Get the ball in position for the Big Ben Hail Mary. Now right here, whether or not Alex Smith has the arm strength to let this thing go, I don't know. He talked about that shoulder restricting his ability to really go deep down the field.
Shoulder that he injured in 07 kept him out all of 08. He used to say that he never called pass interference on a Big Ben play, but we've seen that this year. Gore will just run it. He'll pad stats. And the Niners serenaded with cheers to the locker room.
If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, this might be the game I throw a chair across the locker room at halftime. You know, you jump off sides 3 times on defense on the opening possession. We've turned the ball over 5 times. Our receivers aren't tracking the sidelines. It's just not championship football. So I'm sure Coach Wisenhunt let it fly a little bit at halftime, challenged his offense to get something done quickly to get the momentum back in their favor.
LeRod Stevens-Howling had a good kickoff return the end of the first half. He takes this one from the 6. Nowhere to go there. Tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line. This drive will start from the 23, and it's a Beanie Wells run for about 4. And here's Michelle Tafoya.
You guys just spoke with Mike Singletary. He said, we have to remember, this is Arizona. We have got to keep piling on the points. Just keep scoring points, stick to our game plan. And defensively, we have to keep doing everything we were doing in the first half. Ken Wisenhunt acknowledged his team is out of character right now. His defense is fighting, he said. But he said 5 turnovers. Heck, we're lucky to be down only 17.
Well, Michelle, his team turned it over 5 times in the first half last year against the Jets. Those are the only 2 times that's happened in the last 9 years in the entire NFL. Whistles and movement up front on the Cards.
False start, offense, number 76 and 75. 5-yard penalty, second down.
It's a combo platter on Brown and Latui. Good defensive game plan by the Niners. Wells got a good block. Gets the first down at the 35. Ben Patrick threw that nice block, the tight end.
I think that's an adjustment that they made at halftime. The 49ers are fanning the field with zone coverages, making it hard to throw the football, so let's run it. And you'll see Beanie Wells handle a direct snap here in a shotgun, and you'll see Patrick rolling around the horn. It's a good running play, and that'll settle down this offensive line. Let these guys come off the ball and thump some people.
5 good carries for Wells here tonight. Here's number 6. And there goes Beanie Wells. For a gain of 8. A big tackle by Goldson, who sometimes is guilty of looking for the big hit. Doesn't wrap up and misses short tackles.
Right now the Cardinals playing the numbers game. When the 49ers have those 2 deep safeties, 2 corners up, run against 7 in the box. Take advantage of it. Don't force the pass game if you get the numbers in your favor. Right now Kurt Warner feeling comfortable taking the running opportunity.
Play action, 2nd and 1. A shot downfield. Fitzgerald is doubled. Couldn't pull it in. And he's had very little room to run throughout the season. The deep ball has been a problem. Spencer and Goldson were there as Fitzgerald slow to get up.
The 49ers were in perfect position. They were not sucked up by the play-action fake. You'll see the end of the play here, well defended by the 49ers. Right next to Larry Fitzgerald. Kurt Warner forcing the ball down the field. If it's not there, check it down, take a positive play.
And that is not positive. You do not want to see Larry Fitzgerald, 1, going off, and 2, grabbing at and flexing the right knee. One of these star receivers in the league.
You hope he's okay. You know, the odd thing about this Cardinal pass offense, as productive as it is, they've only had 2 passing plays of over 40 yards this year.
You saw as his right leg was bent, Goldson came down on it. That maybe caused some of the discomfort. 3rd and a yard. Wells misdirecting to the left. First down into Niner territory, marked out at the 45-yard line. I showed you this Fitzgerald play again. It's the right leg that he was grabbing at. And watch Goldson, 38, come down on him as that leg is bent right there. And Larry tried to get up, and you could tell he was favoring it and grabbing at it.
See the athletic trainers working in that knee. I'm sure the doctor and the medical staff is over there as well. That last play run by the Cardinals, one of Kurt Warner's favorite plays when he was with the St. Louis Rams. That 90 flip with Marshall Faulk got him the first down.
Wells has had a good running drive, and there goes Beanie for almost 7. Patrick Willis, Pro Bowler in his first 2 years, made the tackle. So that's runs of 5, 7, 9, 11, and 12 for Beanie on this drive.
You know, Beanie Wells was a first-round draft choice for a reason. This is a big, elusive back, and they couldn't stop raving about his straight arm, Jaws. This guy loves to run in traffic and rely on that stiff arm to free himself. He's looked really impressive coming out of the locker room here in the 3rd quarter.
Officially credited with 6 on that run. Another run for Wells is going to be just shy of the first down. You talk about Beanie coming out. He was at the back end of the first round, 31st, as the Cardinals had that rare pick at the end of the first round because they were the NFC champs. Third and 1, good. Pressure to start it. Able to get in and give Willis a chance to clean it up. Brea Franklin starts the play off the nose.
Boy, short yardage plays. This guy, Patrick Willis, he snips plays out. And when he accelerates, he accelerates. Watch him slide across the formation. That's an excellent job of running through on the backside and making a tackle. And really the impressive thing, Ron, is he doesn't let Beanie Wells get squared up to the line of scrimmage. That's a huge stop for the 49er defense.
The Keogh spikes, Patrick Willis. Boy, those are 2 tough inside linebackers. They work well in tandem.
Play clock running down, movement by the Cardinals. This has been a disaster for Arizona.
False start. Offense, number 31. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
I thought Arizona might go for it right there, guys, on a 4th and 3.
This is Fitzgerald a moment ago trying to walk on that knee and not even able to do that. That's scary stuff for Fitzgerald, for this Cardinals team, and for fans of the NFL. That playoff performance he put on last year, setting the new mark for receiving yards, just great. Ben Graham trying to pin the Niners in deep. It's a good bounce, and they'll be down inside the 10. You are allowed to pick it up almost without penalty once it is touched.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Well, not the look anybody wants to see is while we were away, Larry Fitzgerald going off for further examination by the athletic trainers in the locker room. They were looking at that right knee after that incomplete pass a moment ago. Saw Michelle Tafoya heading over there as well. So if we have any info, we'll pass it along. From the 10, 1st and 10. For Alex Smith and the Niners. Frank Gore, big first half, over 100 yards in the first half. gain of a half yard. Michelle, what do you have?
Well, a couple of things. We're hearing that Larry Fitzgerald is on his way to have x-rays back in the locker room, the Cardinals locker room. As he walked up their very long tunnel, it seemed as though his limp got better. It seemed as though he got more and more comfortable on the walk up. Walking is one thing, as you all know. Cutting and pushing off that knee is quite another. He had a brief conversation with Kurt Warner on the sidelines. It was so brief it led me to believe that, you know, Warner just asked, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll be fine," and he ran off. But we'll know more after the x-rays, guys.
All right, Michelle, thank you. His return questionable, sprained right knee officially from the Cardinals PR staff. After a Gore gain of 1, here's Frank to the right. And the Cardinal defense is stout. They had to talk about this, John. This was a halftime adjustment. A lot of birds at the line. Cardinals bring 5, and Alex Smith throws off the hands of Davis. And incomplete. I don't know if that was deflected before it got there, but it is 4th down.
You know, those are situations that you'd like to come off your goal line, make a first down. But here's Alex Smith. Take a look at it from the shotgun. He's got pretty good protection. Nice pickup on the left side by Coffey, but that's a bad decision in that situation, Ron. Vernon Davis is covered. I think he's got to look elsewhere, throw the ball away with a 17-point lead. That was too tight.
But he did squeeze it in. Would have been a tough catch. Vernon's got to come up with that one.
Bad kick from Andy Lee, and that's a rarity. Gets a good bounce, fielded after the 43-yard kick by Preston, who loses yardage on the return. He slips and falls, and Terrell Brown makes the tackle. Cardinals trying to win the division. They have been really bad the first 2.5 quarters. And that Warner pass is knocked out. What a tough night it's been for Kurt, Ron. There's no fit. It's a movement by the right tackle. Right tackle just kind of fired out of there. Levi Brown. And there have been many procedure penalties here tonight. Now they're asking if the Niner defensive end caused the movement, and that would be his penalty.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 91. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
The Cardinals been going to that dummy count at the line that John talks so much about, where you call a play and you change a play, and he was fortunate that time. It looked like his offensive line moved a little bit. You'll see there's a dummy count. He changed the play. It was almost simultaneous, both moving in the neutral zone. But offensive linemen got to pay attention to the quarterback's cadence and his voice.
I like that rule change. When the defensive guy moves, it forces you to move. Well, they did that several years ago. Penalty on the defense. 2nd and 5. Warner firing sideline through the hands of Doucette, and incomplete. Again, Larry Fitzgerald out on the last drive. So early Doucette moves up to the 3rd receiver, Preston the 2nd receiver.
That's a throw that Kurt Warner has really perfected over the years. The back shoulder fade. He loves throwing that thing to Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald. And with Larry out of the game, he's got to look for Doucette. And this is a well-thrown pattern. He's got to get up and make that play. Somebody's got to make a play for the Arizona Cardinals.
Third and 5 with 5 in the pattern. There's a sideline shot for Doucette. Got him down, inbounds. And a catch at the 21-yard line. A gain of 29 to the 2nd-year man out of LSU.
That's early Doucette. They go after Terrell Brown. And Terrell's a guy that got beat a couple times in Green Bay. But Kurt used motion. He found a one-on-one matchup. And what a well-thrown ball. And Doucette does a nice job leaving room from the sideline.
That's exactly what Kurt Warner was not doing in the first half. Throwing into coverage there, he identified the isolation route and made a heck of a throw.
Longest catch of the 25 Doucette's made in his young career. Keeney Wells bouncing to the left. Patrick Willis caught up in the wash there, but a flag comes down as Michael Lewis tackles the running back.
Looked like Anquan Bolden was grabbing a little jersey on the play. Going to get the holding call.
Holding. Offense. Number 81. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 1st down.
A lot of these running plays that bounce to the outside, it's going to come down to a perimeter block. And you see Anquan right there. Questionable, if you ask me, but he did have his hand on Dre Bly. But I've seen a lot worse, Jaws.
You question every call, so what difference does it make?
If you're wondering why we've seen so much of Beanie Wells here, he's had 11 of the 14 carries tonight. Tim Hightower, who started the game, fumbled in the first quarter, for the 4th time this year. We haven't seen much of Hightower since, until now. And he gets 6 to the 24-yard line. Deshaun Goldson makes the tackle. This was pregame. We talked about this, Ron, right when you were talking about him in the open. He's been walking around that ball the last couple of weeks, trying to stress ball security. And there's nothing to prevent that hit from Deshaun Goldson. And the backup lineman, Jeremy Bridges, got right to him and said, "We still need you. Let's go." Maybe he didn't say it in those exact words, but message sent.
Well, we are on television, right?
Long time for the Cardinals to go without a point. Justin Smith right in at Warner.
Interesting defense by the San Francisco 49ers. A 2nd and long situation. Normally a zone type down, but they went with man-to-man coverage. You'll see it right there. The back coming out of the backfield. Jason Wright, but a good job by the defense of the 49ers anticipating that screen.
It's almost like the 49ers on defense know exactly what Arizona's going to do next.
Sean Morey's in the game as a wide receiver in this 4-wide package. Warner hit, and he's brought down. Sacked by Ahmad Brooks, who forced a fumble earlier.
They are really heating up Warner's backside tonight. Mike Gandy has really struggled. He came back from an injury, but look at Ahmad Brooks get off. Hightower's there to give him a chip. There is no chip, and that's sack number 2 for Ahmad Brooks. And Kurt Warner's got no chance. This is a 3-man rush. There are 8 49ers in coverage. You got to be able to protect a 3-man rush better than that, John.
Yeah, but Gandy expected help, and Hightower ran right by him. He did not get the chip.
Rackers from 48. Got it. It's nice to hear it loud and excited tonight. 17-3 after the first points of the Cardinals. Kickoff return by Glenn Coffey, the Alabama rookie, taken to the 22-yard line. San Francisco has a lead. Larry Fitzgerald walking back down the tunnel with his helmet on. Usually a sign that a player is going to be able to get back in the play. That was right after the kickoff a moment ago by the Cardinals. And there he is on the sideline trying to test that knee.
Good to see that.
One of the stars in the National Football League, and necessary for the Cardinals if they're going to mount a comeback here. Second drive for San Francisco in the 3rd. First one was 3 and out. Up the middle, Gore. Run for Frank for first down.
Oh, I like that call right there. Same play that Frank hit earlier in the first half. Just a straight isolation.
Back here at the play where Warner got sacked at the end of that last drive. I just want to clear one thing up on that play while I was up for a second. We talked about that play during break. We saw that Kurt Warner was sacked by Ahmad Brooks, and he was brought down by a horse collar. And Cardinal fans may even say, why not a flag there? Just to clear up the rule, there's no horse collar on a quarterback in the pocket. So there's no flag. It was correctly not called by the official. There's Gore squirting through the hole for the first down at the 38.
This is Frank Gore right here. You get a lead, you have the ball, you go to Gore. Right off your left side, you're going to see the old power king. Double teams at the point of attack. Fullback leading through, and Frank Gore slithering, sliding, and finishing runs north and south between the tackles. Man, I love watching this guy heat it up.
And I know, John, you love when he runs behind the fullback, and Moran Norris clearing the way.
Look at that. More in 3 quarters than the last 3 games.
Amazing.
And it sets up play action. Caught out of the backfield by the fullback Norris. Tackled by Wilson. Gain of a couple.
These 49ers, they can't help themselves. They still want to throw that. I can't blame them. Alex has had some really good moments. But in this situation, with a 14-point lead and you got a back that's revved up, keep giving it to him. I'm surprised that there he is over there on the sideline with Tom Rathman, ex-49er great himself.
Covering up the interior. Smith throws, and it's intercepted by Adrian Wilson, who went down on his own, couldn't get back up, but a big turnover that may turn momentum here. Well, Adrian Wilson's penalty here will back his team up a little bit, but still, it's a big turnover caused by the 49ers. Really questionable decision in play calling, as they chose to throw it there.
After the interception, we had a dead ball, delay of game on the defense, number 24 for spiking the football. It will be a 5-yard penalty, but we'll start a new series, 1st and 10.
At the 43-yard line, so here's a big momentum moment for the Cardinals. New left tackle, Mike Gandy out with that pelvic injury that bothered him last week and kept him out. Larry Fitzgerald back in the game. Throw to Bolden, complete. Pulled down by Takeo Spikes, back to the interception.
Well, you got a 14-point lead. You're going to run an inside clear and an outside clear, and you're going to try to get Delaney Walker one-on-one on this little F-shoot route they used to call it, and that's just a bad decision. Really questionable that the Niners would be throwing the ball in that situation after Gore had 2 very impressive runs, Ron.
Yeah, they go the single back as well. It's Coffey in the back. You'll almost tell them we're going to throw it.
You saw Jimmy Ray, their offensive coordinator. They're going to run with Wells up the middle. He's close to first down yardage, near the 33-yard line. A lot going on there for that moment. And Mike Singletary's team. They just remind everyone that Mike Gandy's out for the rest of the game with that pelvic injury. So Jeremy Bridges comes back in at left tackle. He was in last week on that offensive front for Arizona and did a great job against Jared Allen. Kept him without a sack or without a tackle.
How about that?
And John, you've pointed out that Gandy has struggled here a couple of times in pass rush situations tonight.
But he was also expecting some help at times from Hightower, Randler. And then, you know, when you set inside expecting that chip and you don't get it, it makes you look bad.
Short yardage. And they'll throw to Wells. First down and more. Beanie Wells inside the 20. Down to the 11-yard line as Manny Lawson chased him down. 3rd and short. They throw for 24.
Well, Kurt Warner normally not an outstanding play-action passer, but they took advantage of the situation with the inside fake, getting Beanie Wells out in the flat quickly. Kurt puts the ball perfectly right out in front of him so Wells can turn up the field, and he is a man when he is running with the football. He does not go down. He will bust your face mask.
And Michael Lewis had the strength to almost pull that one out.
Yes, he did.
Marked inside the 10. 1st and goal. Wells left with penetration by the Niners. Give Willis the chance to clean it up, and a loss of a couple.
You know, Patrick Willis, you got to give him credit, but he really feeds off of these defensive linemen. Watch the defensive linemen in red, 2 gapped it up front. They string the play out, and Patrick Willis, he makes a living playing off these defensive linemen like Justice Smith that hold the point, and you can't get to Patrick Willis. You know, these centers and guards are occupied with these big defensive linemen, and when you don't account for Patrick Willis, he's a problem.
Empty backfield. 5 in the pattern on 2nd and goal. Warner throws complete to Stevens Howling. Stopped by Lewis, and the quarter will commence the 4th quarter with a 3rd and goal.
This is a real interesting chess match here. This is arguably one of the best red zone offenses in the last few years. I don't have the stats, Jaws, but the 49ers are one of the top red zone defenses, and this is where this game is going to be decided. Can you knock it in for touchdowns in the red zone?
Arizona has 10 penalties. They've done everything possible to lose this one. Yet the Niner turnover has given a great opportunity for the Cardinals to start the 4th quarter within a touchdown. 3rd and goal. Fitzgerald, only receiver on the right. Joined by the rookie Stevens Howling. Warner goes to Stevens Howling, backing his way to the goal line, and just shy. The Cardinals thought since he was not touched by Willis, they backed his way in and broke the play.
That may be very close. You'll see it here. Warner gets Stephen Howling out on the edge of the defense, a little bit behind him. He had to reach back to get it. He's not touched yet, but he was short of the goal line when he was touched down by Patrick Willis.
4th and goal. They are out there to go for it. The play clock's down at 19. Dan Carter's the fullback. Beanie Wells, the tailback. Wells, right. Willis hit him. Second effort. Did he get in? Yes, touchdown.
Second effort. You said it, Mike. He was initially stopped short of the goal line. Keep the legs moving. Keep the power moving. As I said earlier, he's a beast. He's a man when he's running the football. You'll see it here. Good surge by the Cardinals offensive line, but stalemated by the 49ers. He stopped right there. Does not cross the goal line. You see his helmet. Not there, but here's the spin. The second move. Larry Fitzgerald still working out his block, and Beanie crossing the goal line.
That is a great run by Beanie Wells.
Extra point by Rackers is blocked. It was blocked by Ray McDonald. It still remains a one-possession game because it's 8 points, but the Cardinals would have to get a 2 to tie it up. Second extra point misses a Cardinal by Rackers, 5th of his NFL career. He spent 3 years in Cincinnati. Let's look at it. Ben Graham, the holder. Again, it forces Arizona to have to get 2 if they score again to tie the game.
Ray McDonald might get great pressure up the middle, but Neil Racker's got to get that ball up. It's an extra point. That ball, the trajectory was very low on that kick.
And we had mentioned at the very start of the game, Rackers in pregame warmups came up lame, a bit lame, on a 53-yard field goal attempt in his normal process of warming up. His first kickoff was a low-line drive, so we'll continue to watch Rackers as the rest of this quarter goes on.
And this is a huge series for the San Francisco 49er offense. They've been very quiet here, coming off that turnover on the last series. They've got to move the football. They can't shut it down with 14 minutes left here, but they got to take care of the ball, Jaws.
Yeah, and Alex Smith, it was an ill-advised throw that was intercepted. Now, how is offense coordinator Jimmy Ray going to handle that? Does he still have the trust in him? We're going to find out.
Rackers' kickoff is very short, and it's fielded up the sideline by Glenn Coffey, who's going to take it and keep the feet going to the 35-yard line. Phil Rackers is not a guy who kicks that short, so.
No, he is one of the premier kickers, certainly in the NFL, and he is an outstanding kickoff guy. He's got 14 touchbacks this year. Something's ailing him right now.
San Francisco's offense hasn't been good in this half. Couple of possessions, a 3 and out and a turnover. Frank Gore carrying, having a big night. Tackled by Dansby with a gain of about 3. John, this has got to be a interesting play calling quarter here for the 49ers.
It's a lot more fun to call plays with a 2-touchdown lead than a 1-touchdown lead, let me tell you. Now, you've got a young quarterback who just turned the ball over. Naturally, you're going to be reluctant to throw the ball, but you're going to have to move the ball and get something done because the quarterback on the other sideline is Kurt Warner. So the 49ers can't sit on it. They have got to move the ball, only up 1 score.
David Boss, the guard, pulling, leading the way for another big Frank Gore run. Flag down as he got downfield. He got all the way out to the 35, but we'll see what the flag is.
During the run, holding, offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, still resulting in a first down.
Comes from the spot. The gain was 28. Josh Morgan, the receiver, cuts into it.
Well, we've seen 3 penalties now tonight on wide receivers for holding. They got Fitzgerald and Bolden, and now they come back and get the 49ers, Josh Morgan, on a big holding call here to nullify a nice game.
Well, the good news is at least they're downfield attempting to block somebody.
And this is important, guys, as you get to this fourth quarter, because if you're just joining us, this is a San Francisco team that said, and Mike Singletary, the coach, said, we want to be a power, aggressive, running team. That's when Sean Hill was the quarterback started the year. Alex Smith came in. They fell behind in a couple of games, hit some passing stuff, and they became like the run and shoot almost. They opened the darn thing up and stopped running the ball.
He said we want to run when we have to. Well, now they have to.
Smith looking, scanning the field for Walker, who was not open. Adrian Wilson was covering.
You've got to be very careful with the football, Alex Smith. You're coming off an interception. Adrian Wilson in perfect position. You'll see him release Vernon Davis. Now he's going to hunt up the crossing route. Here it comes, Delaney Walker. He's in perfect position. That's how you play. That's how you read route combinations, pass concepts. Adrian Wilson in a perfect spot.
Would that define ill-advised throw?
Yes.
Okay, you guys are the experts. I'm just drinking a soft drink up here watching the game. Coffee up the middle. It's a good run for Glenn near the 45. Gain of almost 5.
You know, when you get into these 2 tight end, 2 back sets, you got a chance to block some of these 8-man fronts, Ron. And clearly the 49ers are doing an excellent job in this personnel grouping of jamming the ball right at the Arizona Cardinals and making good yardage.
Well, this third down could not get any bigger for the San Francisco 49ers. They are 29th in the league on converting third down to first down. This one's huge.
Cardinals rush 6. Pick up the blitz, and the pass is knocked down by Wilson. Adrian Wilson, top Pro Bowl vote getter at safety to this point.
Adrian Wilson has made a lot of plays as a tackler, as a pass defender, and now he knocks down a ball, but it's a double A gap blitz. Nice pickup by Coffey, and Alex Smith never saw Adrian Wilson, but you got to give the big safety man credit, Jaws. He's played down in the box. He's played in the middle third. He's been all over the field. He's intercepted a pass. He's a reason the Cardinals have a chance to tie this football game.
One of Andy Lee's strengths, pinning teams inside the 20. Does it right there with good hang time and breast and catches. These teams play very entertaining games. Third straight year they're on Monday Night Football. The prior 2 decided by 7 points, including that great bizarre finish in Arizona last year, where the Niners were stopped from the 3-yard line in the last play. Beanie Wells with a 100. He lost the football. Harrelson tried to fall on it. Let's see who's got it. There have already been 5 turnovers by the Cardinals tonight. Still unpiling. 6 turnovers on the Cardinals tonight.
It looks like Paris Harrelson is the strongest man because he's down at the bottom. Comes out with the football.
And it's Goldson again for the 2nd time tonight.
Boy, he puts his helmet right on the football and knocks it loose out of Beanie Wells. That is picture-perfect technique. Making a tackle, causing a fumble. Deshaun Goldson's been outstanding.
And what did Mike Singletary tell us about Deshaun Goldson?
Yeah.
He says he might miss a few tackles, and we won't accept that, but when he hits you, he explodes on you. And Deshaun Goldson is one of these safeties that's just looking for the knockout shot. He's had 3 of them tonight.
And both running backs, Hightower and Wells, have dropped it. The recovery by Harrelson, 6 turnovers by 6 different players on the Niners defense. What a chance for San Fran. A shotgun run with Gore. Inside the 10. to the 5. First and goal, San Francisco.
Well, this is a one-back power play. They run it out of 2 backs. They run it out of 1 back. They bring it to the shotgun. You're going to see the double team here. Offside guard leading. And it's just a simple handoff to Frank Gore. You see Josh Morgan out there working on the perimeter. Frank Gore, 20 carries, 157 yards. Impressive.
Vernon Davis, a nice job of sealing the inside, allowing Gore to get to the seam.
Gore couldn't get it out to the outside where there was open space. Well, second and goal.
And with all these turnovers tonight, I think Coach Singletary is probably saying, you know what, a field goal's big right here.
That's right.
You know, might not want to throw it here. I mean, this is...
Take your 3. Make it a 2-score game.
But you want to find out if you can trust Alex Smith. You know, this is a guy that you're obviously showing a lot of trust and confidence in. Don't be surprised if the 49ers don't throw it again down in here inside the 5-yard line.
That has been their mentality as of late. But I would agree with you, John. 3 would look real big, real sweet for the 49ers.
Gore right. To the 2. I hear you guys with that concern, and I know that he's 14-27. There have been no explosive moments from the Cardinals, but I don't want to give those guys anything. You know, I want 7 down here from San Francisco. I'd be real worried about.
No, you take
too conservative here.
You know what? I'll take the 3.
All right.
I'll take the 3.
Fine.
No, you want to score 7.
Fine.
No, don't get me wrong.
I know.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm serious.
Hey, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if I'm a 49er knowing the Cardinals got to score twice on me.
They're going to have to burn a timeout here, but you want to wait to call that timeout. You'd want to run down the play clock, and they'll exhaust all the time. Basic clock management there. Timeout, San Francisco. A couple of the men who played in the National Football League. Mike Singletary's great Hall of Fame dozen-year career. Ken Wisenhunt was a 12th-round selection. Played 9 years in the NFL as a tight end. Their teams, another intense battle. Niners facing 3rd and goal. Moran Norris, the fullback. Gore, the deep back. Gore going in. Touchdown.
Just like Beanie Wells a moment ago, Frank Gore finishes. Tremendous second effort. Good line surge by the 49ers, but he didn't get it in. And the push was by Frank Gore to push it home.
Why would you throw in that situation, as we said, Ron? If you don't get it in there, you have the field goal opportunity. But Frank Gore, red hot. What a physical, explosive run and great finish.
Joe Nedney adds the extra point. It's a 15-point lead. Great city and a long, terrific football tradition that has been dormant, really, for most of this decade. But a very big night on the national stage for the Niners. Every time the Cardinals give it, they take it away. 24 points, all off turnovers. Around Stephen Towling for the 4. Return to the 24-yard line. Here's Warner. They got to get going here. Hightower out of the backfield. Good gain of about 7 or 8. Warner put it on the ground again. This time Bridges recovers. As Ahmad Brooks, who's had the first multi-sack game of his career here tonight, now has 3.
Well, Jeremy Bridges was beat right at the snap. Kurt Warner didn't have a chance. You'll see right there. There's Bridges. And look at the way Brooks got off. Wow, man. Like a rocket on his back.
I think these 49ers have something on center Lyle Senline. They are getting off quicker than I have ever seen them get off the ball. The 49ers have 11 sacks in the last 2 games. They've got 4 or 5 tonight.
3rd and 7. Here's the rush again. Here's another sack. Patrick Willis gets this one. And that's 4 officially for the night.
Boy, Patrick Willis, if you give him a crack, he'll rip right through there. Take a look at Willis covering the back. And as soon as you see Hightower look to help out and pass protect, Willis says, go ahead and help the tackle. I'm rushing your quarterback. That is called a green dog right there, Ron.
Green for go get the quarterback.
Right. If the back stays in, you got a green light the dog. And that is picture perfect.
Line drive, kick, battle, mishandles it.
Oh, no.
Loses it again. And it goes out of bounds. And the Niners with another fumble on a punt return, but they keep possession. The 49ers fumbled on that punt, even though they didn't lose it. It's a league-leading 7 fumbles on punt returns this year. It's the 5th one for Ernest Battle. Need to run the clock, run it with Gore. He gets 3 to the 25. Frank had a 207-yard game against Seattle, but that one had huge runs of 79 and 80 yards. He's been very solid and consistent. He goes out, Coffee gets him.
This is the exact situation Mike Singletary was talking us about on Saturday. We want to run the football. We want to run the football when we have to put a game away. A 15-point lead, 7 minutes to go. Work that clock. Don't let Kurt Warner get the ball back.
Coffee from Alabama is stopped for a loss. Loss about 3.
And there's some frustration kicking in on the Arizona defense right now. You see some of this stuff going on after the whistle. They run a stretch play to the offensive right here. But take a look at Coffee right here. There's nowhere to go. And if you just watch around the piles at the end of the play, you'll see Darnell Dockett take a shot at Boss. They're frustrated, and I know San Francisco would love to finish this game with their offense and continue to move the ball and take time off this clock.
Gore was over on the sideline stretching. He got banged up on that last carry a little bit. The 3rd and 10 for Smith. Complete to Davis. First down. Good throw and catch out to the 37-yard line.
Alex Smith poised in the pocket. He needed to make a play.
You know, one of the things I like, they send Vernon Davis on seam routes all the time, Ron.
Yep.
But in this game, that's the 2nd time they've sent Vernon Davis down the seam and stopped right around 12 to 14 yards. That's an excellent job by Alex Smith and offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray.
John, you nail it. Versus that cover 2, that tight end runs down the middle, takes the middle of the field. Now that safety in this particular situation, Adrian Wilson playing that. You make that comeback curl route right in the money by Alex Smith.
Clock goes under 5 minutes after this play. A run with the fullback. Warren Norris across the 40-yard line. You guys mentioned Jimmy Ray, who's been around football for a long time, over 3 decades. He was the offensive coordinator with Eric Dickerson back in the Rams days, and is one of a continuing carousel of offensive coordinators here over the last decade. Really enjoyed our visit with Jimmy on Saturday, talking about how this entire season has gone for the 49ers, but they found something here tonight. And Jimmy was pretty confident as we visited with him that they can find the balance between Gore and Smith, and they have. Gore runs to the 44-yard line. Cardinals have their full complement of timeouts.
You know, this is when it's fun to be an offensive lineman. You have the lead, you're at home, you're beating your nemesis, the first place team in the division, and you physically get a chance to put some weight on your front hand in your stance and fire off the ball. And don't be surprised on this 3rd down and 5 if they run the ball again.
They were awful on 3rd down last week, John. 1 of 13 against Seattle. They picked up some good ones tonight. Crabtree gets another one. In front of McFadden, first down, San Francisco.
Well-executed play. Josh Morgan ran a little rub route, and underneath came Michael Crabtree. To the left of the screen, little rub to the outside, allowed Crabtree to come underneath.
I'm impressed with Michael Crabtree. Young guy coming in here, snatching a ball away from his body. He's playing fearless. He's playing physical. He's already caught a square in and taken it to the house. This guy missed the whole offseason, the entire training camp, the first 5 regular season games in a holdout. They got something here.
Arizona probably used their timeouts on this side of the 2-minute warning. Any hopes of getting the ball back. A run for a couple here with Coffey. And there Ken Wisenhunt, who understands clock management, stops it at 3:05. San Francisco still alive in the division. Win them all, 9-7, and hope the tiebreaker lotto ball machine pops out a winner for you.
Mike, don't want to be the what-if guy, but what if last week against Seattle they had won that football game? That may be the game they're going to look back at and say, oh, that was our killer. That's the one that stopped us from getting in the playoffs.
Both of these teams have the Lions and Cardinals and Rams, St. Louis Rams, ahead on their schedule. Coffey with the run to the 45. Clock stopped with another Arizona timeout. 3 minutes left.
But, you know, these guys, the 49ers, they lost on the last play of the game against Brett Favre. He threw a dart about 50 yards down the field. But, you know, that's football. I think it's great to see the San Francisco 49ers respond. Remember, they haven't had a winning season since 2002. Right away, let's turn the table. Let's have a winning season. Let's let some people in the division help us out. Let's find a way to make the playoffs. But I'm very impressed with the balance of their offense. The performance of Alex Smith has been up and down a little bit tonight, but you can't say enough about this 49er defense. You force 6 turnovers, you're going to win just about every time.
I did not see this coming. Looking at the Cardinals last week, the way they pummeled the Vikings, a disappointing loss the Niners had up in Seattle, did not see this dominance coming from the 49ers over the Cardinals.
3rd and 5, run the ball, force them to use their last timeout. False start first.
False start, offense, number 68, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
You got to give some love to Mike Singletary. What a job he has done getting his football team ready for this game tonight.
You know, when I started my NFL coaching career, it was right here, 1990, and I was here for just the 1 year. And you should have seen the team they had here. You know, we all remember the tradition of excellence they had here, the San Francisco 49ers. The thought of them getting back to that level is exciting. Boy, they've been in a lot of big games here at Candlestick Park.
Now it's 3rd and 10. Will shovel to Coffey. Bounced off of Alan Branch. Stays with him. Holds on to the ball. Did a nice job of that, too. Forcing the Cardinals to use their final timeout. It'll be 4th down. Not just here, the entire Bay Area. Football in the Bay Area has been abysmal for most of this decade. The Raiders across the Bay have been very poor, as we know, and the Niners with those 6 losing seasons that you mentioned. As a matter of fact, you had great success from the early days.
You know, both these teams have quarterbacks that are #1 picks in the draft. Alex Smith, Jamarcus Russell, both guys been heavily scrutinized. Great to see Alex Smith get a win tonight.
Battle was unable to go down and get it, so we'll have a touchback and a drive starting at the 20. If you have multiple pro sports teams in a city, like in New York or in LA in the NBA, you've never had a 6-year stretch with 2 teams in one city, like you have in the Bay Area, where the combined teams have been as bad as the Niners and the Raiders. But you've worked in both places, and you know what a special football area this is.
Special, very special. And these are 2 global football teams. You go overseas, there's Raider fans everywhere, 49er fans. We know a lot of the alumni of these 2 football teams. You played against them, Ron. The NFL needs the 49ers and the Raiders to come back strong, and I'm confident they will.
Out of timeouts, down 15. Arizona needs to score in a hurry. Warner completing to Bolden underneath. Look at Bolden losing the football after a gain of 15. Will that be a 7th turnover?
I believe so.
Unbelievable. 7 turnovers by Arizona tonight. Ties Carolina the start of the season for the season high in the NFL for turnovers by a team.
I don't think I've ever seen it. What a great job
stripping the ball
by
here.
Mark Roman, a veteran player. You know, you hold Anquan Bolden up, and you go for the strip. Mike Singletary, his defensive coaches deserve tremendous credit tonight. I think that's 7 different Cardinals, Mike, that's turned the ball over.
And it's 7 fumbles also. 5 of them lost. A couple of interceptions added to that. Quite a night for this defense, and Ron mentioned him earlier. You know, Mike Singletary is the legendary defensive player. Credit to Greg Minuski, who's been around the league as a position coach and coordinator. What a very strong effort his defense put up here tonight. Glenn Coffey, the rookie out of Alabama, carries. We keep saying that to try to get to mention Mark Ingram, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama, who waited behind Coffey last year while he ran for 1,383 yards. So it was a pretty darn good offensive line that helped both of those guys.
You know, put this thing in perspective, too, guys. This is the 3rd straight time San Francisco will have beaten the Arizona Cardinals.
Kurt Warner said Carolina and his 5 interceptions was one of those nights. Well, put this one in the same category. Not just Warner, but the entire team.
There's going to be a lot of coaches in the NFL get a copy of this film and show their team what can happen if you don't take care of the ball.
7 turnover games you just don't see. Really, only one other, as we mentioned this year, Panthers, Eagles.
Doesn't matter who you are, you know, you get into games, football, hey, you got to cover it up. And I know it's got Arizona's attention, that's for sure.
Well, give the Niners some credit. They caused. It was a hard-hitting game by their defense. It was ball hawking in the secondary, you know, taking balls away when they were up in the air. They made plays tonight.
Coffey runs into the line, gains a couple of penalty markers down. This will be number 18 on the night. The holding penalties on automatic first down with 1:56 and the other team out of timeout, so you can take some knees and take a win.
And I'm glad you pointed out that the Eagles were back in first place.
Thank you.
As I heard Jaworski running down the hallways last night, screaming, Eagles win, Eagles win. Impressive victory for the 49ers tonight. There's a lot of football left to be played.
It's a very disappointing effort for this team and for Ken Wisenhunt.
That's going to be some soul searching. They did not show up to play football tonight. As well as they played last week against the Minnesota Vikings at home in Phoenix, tonight was the antithesis of that, John. They didn't show up at all.
Now 7 turnovers, 11 penalties. You get an extra point blocked. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. But a lot of that has to do with these San Francisco 49ers.
And guys, I know he was not a great factor in the game. Didn't have an awesome stat game, but I'm happy for Alex Smith. I've covered him going back to his Utah days. #1 overall pick. Has not had the easiest road. We mentioned the 5 different offensive coordinators. Shoulder injury, shoulder surgery. Getting a second chance. His contract reduced. Was the backup to start this season, but hung in there, and he's led this 49er team to a pretty impressive win.
You know, you could sense the maturity in his game on the field, and when you meet with him, he's matured as a person. He now understands what it takes to be successful at the NFL level. The work ethic, the off-season workouts, all those things that are important. I think, you know, the term is kind of simple, but he gets it now.
To use the soccer term, the man of the match, Frank Gore, 25 carries, 167 yards tonight. What a night for Frank Gore and the 49ers. San Francisco moves within a couple of games of Arizona with 3 to go here in the rest of the season.